to First Move, your first global look at today's action in the Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital asset space. I'm your host, Christine Lee, and joining me are my co-hosts, CoinDesk Managing Editor of Global Capital Markets, Lawrence Lewitinn, and Managing Director of International Content, Emily Parker. Guess where I am, guys?
Yeah, don't give out too much information, but yeah. Yeah,
don't dox me, but I'll give you the tiniest hint. There's going to be a lot of
show the view.
It's the new crypto hub of.
I hope you have a good view.
The U.S. of A. Yes, I got to dip my feet into the ocean today. It was really nice.
Congratulations!
But I also, one of the things I love, tens of thousands of people are coming to Miami for the crypto conference. I love seeing pictures of Vitalik walking around with his name tag on, just in case you didn't know who he is. But also,
Vitalik,
we're looking at. We're also
it's like the one place in the world he doesn't need it.
Yeah,
he might need it anywhere else, but yeah.
Slightly ironic. Love Vitalik's humor. We're also getting some tweets from Elon Musk. He's out with a hashtag Bitcoin broken heart emoji with a meme saying, I know I said it would be over between us if you quoted another Linkin Park song, but I found someone else. Aww. And him, so in the end, it didn't even matter. But then we have all these responses, one from Michael Sonnenschein, CEO of Grayscale, with the Tesla ticker and a broken heart emoji. Lawrence, Emily, is this a bad breakup? What's going on here?
I mean, do we know what he's brokenhearted about? Because I do not know. Do you know, Lawrence?
No, I keep trying to figure this out. Like, I think the market's interpreting it as like Tesla might be, getting rid of its Bitcoin holding. I think that's like the worst case scenario, which is why we're seeing Bitcoin down. But instead, it could just mean like he's fallen. Maybe Doge loves him more. Nobody knows what he's thinking. Like, who knows? For all we know, Grimes was like doing this, sending him a message. Like, you pick Bitcoin over me.
Yeah, the larger problem, and I think we're all on the same page here, is like the crypto market should not be reacting to a broken heart emoji, right? Like, that's not the sign of a mature market. And, according to our own reporting, after this was tweeted, Bitcoin went down something like 7%. So, this is like just raises a larger question of what's moving markets here.
Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Look.
No, I was just going to say, it's really it's disturbing that's what we've become as a market, that it just is scouring for like interpretive signs of like, it's Kremlinology 2.0. I mean, that's really what we're seeing right now.
Market. Yep.
Oh boy.
It might have something to do with this sentiment tracker that says, Elon Musk's sentiment for Elon Musk on Twitter has gone from positive to negative. So maybe it's, Elon is a master at marketing and shepherding the emotions of the masses over social media. So he could just be playing the game and offering a bit of humor.
From the crypto world,
what his next move is.
Yeah, I mean, just quite clearly, on the crypto world, people love him when he's driving the price up, and then when he drives the price down, they turn against him. So that's part of what's driving anti-Elon sentiment, I would say.
It's very emotional out there. Let's take a live look at Bitcoin right now. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XBX index is currently trading at 36,900. Yes, Bitcoin is down almost 6% over the past 24 hours. And the CoinDesk Ether price ETX index is right now at 2644. ETH is down almost 7% over the day. The most reliable reference prices for institutions since 2014 are now published under the CoinDesk brand, trusted globally as the leader in crypto news and data. All right. Moving on to our first guest, peer-to-peer digital asset marketplace Paxful is launching a tool allowing businesses to receive payment in Bitcoin. The tool will convert customer payments into Bitcoin, which will then be sent to a merchant's digital wallet. Joining us now to discuss is Paxful CEO Ray Youssef. Welcome, Ray.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Christina. It's a pleasure to be here.
To have you. So just looking at your product, are merchants asking to be paid in Bitcoin?
No, they're not asking to be paid in Bitcoin. What merchants are asking for is to be able to sell their products. For example, peoples in Africa, they have a hard time getting merchant accounts. Getting a Visa and MasterCard merchant accounts is extremely difficult for some merchants in Africa, for most of them. Some of them have to fly to New York, open up a corporate bank account just to be able to access a Visa and MasterCard merchant account. They would love to access customers in the West. Same way the merchants in the West would love to access all these customers in the emerging markets, over 4 billion people, yet they can't for various reasons like fraud. What if there was a way to connect all those markets together so that merchants in emerging markets could access customers in the West, and then merchants in the West could access customers in emerging markets? And indeed there is. Cryptocurrency provides a solution. We just have to accept the fact, however impalatable it might be, that perhaps cryptocurrency should be invisible in that regard and just serve the use case.
So, Ray, who are these merchants? Are they small shops? Are they large manufacturers? Are these? Is this a physical transaction? In other words, like, are people like showing up to a shop and using a box, or is it all online? And I'm purchasing, let's say, raw goods from a country that maybe where the merchant selling it needs, doesn't want to set up this U.S. account, U.S. dollar account.
Currently, it's all e-commerce, the vast majority of it. And as with everything, it starts with the little guy, right? The mom and pop shop, someone who just started this shop, someone who's designing a new pair of shoes and wants to sell it online. And from there, it grows. If it's simple enough, it's accessible enough and safe, then everyone will come. And it's our job as product people in crypto to make sure that we get there.
So this is a seamless transaction. In other words, when I'm purchasing from the merchant, am I seeing a crypto price, or am I seeing local currency price, or if I'm buying it from the U.S., a U.S. dollar price? How am I interacting with this if I'm using this product?
The best product to compare it with is PayPal checkout, right? Any merchant can take PayPal, put it on their website, and there'll be a few simple buttons there, and they can sell their products. The end user just means, hey, check out with your PayPal account. Paxful Pay is similar to that. It's just an embed, something any merchant can put on their website. And when the customer goes there, they're not going to see any hint of crypto. They're going to see payment options. Pay with your Paxful account. You can choose to also pay with cryptocurrency. But the real winner here is that the customer can choose to pay with any of the 400 payment methods that we support. And this is the point here that we all have to grasp. And this is what the peoples of Africa really taught us. Bitcoin's killer app is as a clearing layer for everything else. Using a marketplace like Paxful, someone can go in and they can trade a gift card and buy Bitcoin. And they can also take that Bitcoin and sell it and get another gift card or a cash deposit or whatever else. So someone, say a merchant in California, puts up Paxful Pay, right? And they sell, video games, right? Let's say they sell just Xbox games, right? Someone could go onto that site. They would see Paxful Pay. Let's say that customer had a PlayStation gift card. They could use a PlayStation gift card, and it would immediately be turned into Bitcoins on the back end or Tether, and the merchant would get that credit to their accounts, and then the transaction would be done. So this guy just bought some Xbox games with a PlayStation gift card, or they could do that with a Western Union or cash or a bank transfer. It really doesn't matter. We support over 400 payment methods, and we basically use the Paxful marketplace as an engine, as a universal translator for money to turn any of those payment methods into crypto. And then we deliver to the merchant whatever they wish, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's USDT, or a bank transfer. Essentially, we make crypto as invisible as possible in the process to basically translate every form of money into any form of money that the merchant wants. And this experience is seamless for the buyer. This is really the pinnacle of what crypto.
Question about Paxful. One thing that's very cool about Paxful is that it's one of the few places where you can actually get geographical data on crypto, which is really hard to get, where crypto trade is happening. So I'm just wondering, given the data that you have, where are we seeing surges in crypto trading? And are there any surprises in the data? Are there any sort of regions or countries where we're seeing a boom in crypto that wouldn't be expected?
Africa. Africa is leading global cryptocurrency adoption. 6 years ago, when we started this mission to bring Bitcoin into Africa, everyone laughed. And now Africa is leading, and it's markets like Nigeria. And every day there's new markets blowing up. Cameroon, for example. is coming up very strong. Ethiopia is starting to come up, a real underdog, but watch what they do in the next few years. So Africa, everyone should have all eyes on Africa right now. Africa is a rocket waiting to take off. In fact, they're actually not waiting. What the young peoples of Nigeria have done recently, to such effect, they built their own alternative financial network using Bitcoin that the government had to institute draconian means to stop it. This is just a harbinger of things to come. We're only starting to see what Africa is capable of now.
When you say leading cryptocurrency adoption, I'm just curious, how do you measure that? What does that mean data-wise?
Sheer numbers of transactions on Paxful, numbers of Google searches, primarily from Nigeria. And if you're on the ground, that's the real test. I invite anyone to go to Lagos, to go to Abuja, to go to Cameroon, to go to Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, and you will see for yourself the tremendous momentum around this. People ask me, why am I so crazy about Africa? Well, the reason is I've been there. I've met the people. I've seen the problems that they have. It makes perfect sense once you're there.
Ray, I wonder if you want to weigh in on this whole Elon Musk and Tesla drama that we have on our hands. Maybe they should have gone to Paxful for, accepting payments with Tesla rather than whatever custody or issuer he was initially thinking of.
Oh boy, yeah, you really opened up Pandora's box there, right? So look, I think you guys summed it up pretty well. We should focus on building as a community. If we get sucked into these speculative games, whatever voices can come in and start sloshing around the ship, that is not the sign of a mature market. That's not the sign of a mature community. Let's all respect what we've built here. It's been 12 years down this journey. And Bitcoin as a technology is amazing. But this social movement that we've built around Bitcoin is even more amazing, in my opinion. And that is the heart of peer-to-peer. This whole movement began as peer-to-peer. The first words in the white paper were peer-to-peer electronic cash. Let's remember that. Because as long as we stay strong, as long as we are connected, whatever voices come in to try to destabilize the ship, they won't have any effect. So we can just ignore them and keep on building. That is the way.
All right, Ray. Well, I'm very excited about you going into Africa and seeing the developments there. But thank you for joining us this morning and talking about Paxful.
Thank you for having me.
All
right, that was Paxful CEO Ray Youssef. Coming up, checking in on Asia and crypto markets update with crypto finance firm Amber Group. Time now for the daily forecast, an update on what's happening in the Asia crypto markets. Here's Angie Lau of Forecast News.
Welcome to the Daily Forecast, June 4th, 2021. I'm Angie Lau, Editor-in-Chief of Forecast News. Let's get you up to speed from Asia to the world. It is a tale of two Bitcoin conferences, 9,000 miles apart. There's what's touted as the biggest crypto event in history, the Bitcoin 2021 conference, underway right now in Miami with thousands of attendees. And it certainly got markets excited, with BTC surging in the lead up to the event, hovering near the $40,000 mark. Now, on the other side of the world, in Asia, in Hong Kong, a smaller, more intimate gathering of those who know about crypto and those who want to learn more. Forecast News' Lucas Caccioli was at the event and had the chance to speak with some of the attendees about Bitcoin's utility moving forward.
Do you think Bitcoin is going to be something that we actually transact with in the future?
I think that at the moment, as a reserve value, it does serve the purpose very well. I'm not sure eventually it will be as a currency.
So you view it more as a store of wealth type of thing?
I think it's one of the huge potential investment tools in the future.
I myself actually bought some Ethereum. I invested in Ethereum. I invested in that as well since 2017.
Wow.
So I guess, cryptocurrency, why not?
Why not indeed? And get this, attendees at the event in Hong Kong paid for libations using what else but Bitcoin. The bar owner, Eugene Kwok, accepts the payment method via the Lightning Network. This is a layer 2 payment protocol that negates Bitcoin's high transaction fees. So attendees probably were able to sneak in an extra beer or two. All right, taking a look at Bitcoin now closing down over 5.25% at the end of the Asian trading day, 4 p.m. Hong Kong time. And in the top 10 for cryptocurrencies, a lot of red across the board, but one bright spot, ICP up just under 4% on the day. It hasn't been flushed out of 10 just yet. Meanwhile, in China, blockchain continues to be the buzzword. State-backed Copyright Society of China has officially released the China Copyright Chain. Now, this new blockchain service will provide copyright holders with copyright protection such as storage or automated monitoring of infringements. The association conducted a survey of 27 leading enterprises and the nation. And their findings is this: all of them are actually already using blockchain for copyright verification. And then there's this, a Banksy for your Bitcoin, a physical work of art by the mysterious and often controversial street artist Banksy, will be auctioned off next week in Hong Kong by Phillips Auction House, and they're accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum as a form of payment. Phillips says the sale of the 2002 piece titled Laugh Now, Panel A, marks the first time that a major auction house in Asia has accepted crypto as a form of payment for physical art. They tell us it was a private collector that actually had the idea.
We started discussing the consignment and the artist and the interest of the piece. And he said, well, Banksy, is such, in a way, an outcast in the art world. And cryptocurrency is something also that is very new and on the side. So why don't we merge these two worlds and accept cryptocurrency for these specific love?
The work is estimated to go for between 2.8 to 4.1 million US dollars. Now in Bitcoin, that's somewhere between 75 and a quarter BTC to over 110 Bitcoins. And that's the daily forecast from our vantage point right here in Asia. For more, visit forecast.news. I'm Editor-in-Chief Angie Lau. Until next time.
The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
Live look at Bitcoin. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XBX index is currently trading at $36,768. Bitcoin is down about 5.5% over the past 24 hours. And the CoinDesk Ether price ETX index right now at 2643. ETH is down almost 7% over the past 24 hours. And joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Jeffrey Wang, head of the Americas at Amber Group. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. All right. So we have a dip in the crypto markets right now. I'd love to get your outlook on Bitcoin as well as other altcoins. Is this dip due to Elon or just crypto and particularly Bitcoin stuck in a range of 30 to 40,000?
Right. I mean, I think clearly we're in a consolidation phase after the big sell-off a few weeks ago. And, prices are very sensitive to headlines, as we've seen, as you guys all rightly mentioned, the tweet from Elon using an emoji is harder to interpret than if he actually used kind of words. But clearly, it's a negative short-term driver on the price that we've seen. I think medium term, I think we're still looking fairly bullish. I think from an institutional standpoint, we've seen generally people buying the dips. We've not seen anyone being phased from our customer base. In fact, people are looking at opportunities to buy certain coins. And I think one thing now that is different than maybe 6 months ago is that you need to be a bit more discerning on what you're buying. Whereas 6 months ago you could kind of throw a dart at a dartboard and buy kind of any coin and it would rally. Now you have to do a bit more research, look into what you're buying, look at the tokenomics, the project, people behind the project. So yeah, I think overall it's probably good for the space that we had that flush out. It's a bit healthy to get rid of some leverage, some of the froth, and now kind of just washing around in the consolidation phase.
So Jeffrey, when it comes to the markets right now, we're seeing kind of a lessening in leverage. One of the things happening, of course, is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I should mention that Grayscale is owned by DCG, which is our parent company. The premium on that has gone down to negative. So carry trade in the futures market is not as good of an idea right now. So are we seeing, is this kind of going to be a long-term problem for the markets in terms of the fact that the leverage isn't there and there are no futures positions the way it was before, that the kind of big swings on the upside are not going to be there in the coming months? Or do you see that as just a temporary situation?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I do think that's more of a temporary situation and maybe something that's more product specific to the trust that you mentioned. But overall, what I've been kind of looking at more is I think the biggest cloud hanging over the crypto industry as a whole is probably regulation and the uncertainty regarding that. I think, crypto blockchain as an industry is here to stay. I would very welcome, governments and regulators around the world to help put a framework together so that, everyone across the space can operate on kind of common ground and have kind of a level playing field. I think once that happens, once we get past some of that regulatory uncertainty, that's one less thing for projects to worry about, finance firms to worry about, and the whole industry can really get back to what it does best, which I think is innovation and solving problems.
Good morning. So there's been a lot of volatility recently. I mean, there always is, but there's been particularly a lot of volatility recently, especially with the big sell-off that you mentioned earlier. You have kind of a unique perspective because I know you're head of Americas, but Amber definitely has a strong presence in Asia as well. Can you talk a little bit about the role of Asian traders versus U.S. traders, at least as far as you're observing in the recent round of volatility?
Yeah, I mean, I think one interesting thing to note, my background before crypto was in the foreign exchange space, and I was based in Asia for, 15 years of my career. And in general, foreign exchange, we would always look to the US and Europe kind of as driving a lot of the moves, and Asia will kind of be, picking up the pieces after. The interesting thing about crypto is it's kind of flipped a little bit. So a lot of the global flows are definitely Asia-driven. A lot more of the speculative trading is driven out of Asia. So a lot of the moves are kind of are driven out of that time zone, which is really interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think those traders are not unfamiliar with the volatility. So, I think they've also not really been phased, similar to the institutional buyers that we've seen in the US.
So Jeffrey, you mentioned
follow-up questions on that. When you talk about traders, are you talking about retail or institutional? And also, how do you know, right? I mean, this is one of the biggest challenges about crypto is actually seeing where trade is coming from. You mentioned time zones, but that's not really a perfect gauge of trading activity, right? Because there's so much automated trading, and so I'm just curious, like, how do you know that it's coming from Asia? And also, is it retail or institutional?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I guess, you can measure volumes in Asian time, but obviously people can be trading at any time. So I think some of it is what kind of our own internal data that we keep track of where people are based. But some of it is anecdotal, to be fair. So, for me sitting in North America, a lot of times, the quiet part of the day for us is the afternoon. And then as soon as kind of the Asia morning kind of comes in, you'll see an uptick in a lot of things, volumes, price moves. So that may be anecdotal, but, in my mind, that's, Asia waking up, people logging in, checking the news and starting kind of putting on their first trades of the day.
All right, Jeffrey, thanks for a fundamental look at the markets, especially with the Asia perspective. Appreciate your insights this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Jeffrey Wang, head of the Americas at Amber Group. Coming up, is Elon Musk good for the crypto industry? We'll discuss more and have our daily global policy and regulation update with CoinDesk's Nick Day.
CoinDesk indexes, the market standard for crypto assets since 2014. Our trusted data powers billions in publicly traded funds. CoinDesk indexes are the standard used by institutions, and they're the key for investors looking to understand and access crypto markets.
CoinDesk Bitcoin Price Index, XBX, has been instrumental to Grayscale, enabling investors around the world to access Bitcoin through a regulated, familiar product.
CoinDesk indexes enabled the early adopters to build crypto investment vehicles, and they're already trusted by a new generation of global investors.
Welcome back. Time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's The State of Crypto newsletter. Good morning, Nick. We're getting a lot of chatter about this ransomware, cyber attacks, and maybe we should ban Bitcoin because of it. I don't know what kind of traction that is getting or what kind of chatter and reaction that's getting in DC. Let us know.
Yeah, so it feels like we were just talking about this 2 days ago. Actually, I think it was just 2 days ago that we were last talking about this when the Biden administration announced that crypto analysis was one of the factors they were looking at in responding to ransomware attacks. We're now seeing this kind of get bigger. Yesterday, Representative Carolyn Maloney of New York, who chairs the House Oversight Committee, wrote letters to Colonial Pipeline and CNA Financial asking them about their decision-making process in choosing to pay ransomware attackers, presumably in crypto. Colonial first sure paid in Bitcoin. CNA, I think it's a little unclear, but Representative Maloney's letter said, alluded to crypto payments. So this is becoming like a pretty big issue. Specifically, one of the big concerns is that if a company or multiple companies pay ransomware attackers millions of dollars in crypto or something else, it kind of incentivizes further attacks. The people who are developing these cyber attacks might be incentivized to do more if they think they can get a ton of money out of it. So we're seeing that kind of, get broader attention. Banning Bitcoin, I don't think is getting too much traction on Capitol Hill just yet. I've been speaking to a couple folks who were part of the ransomware task force that published a report on this last month, and their view is that banning Bitcoin might not be an effective solution. There are other things that can happen, though. For example, just making it harder to pay attackers by strengthening know your customer and anti-money laundering laws.
Nick, to what extent is this even a crypto problem, though, right? I mean, it's not like, all sorts of different kinds of money have been used for crime. And, every time crypto is used for criminal activity, people are like, oh, crypto is bad. I mean, is this even like a crypto-specific issue?
Yeah, I think it is. It's definitely, so ransomware has existed for quite a while. It's existed, I think, for decades at this point. Definitely it's existed longer than crypto has been a thing. But what Bitcoin has done is become a key enabler of these types of attacks. It does make it a lot easier to pay ransoms because just because Bitcoin's decentralized nature, the fact that you can send it around the world, you don't need to go through the banking system, you don't need to find a centralized payments partner. So Bitcoin is definitely a factor here. I think the real questions that folks in DC and other governments around the world are facing now is, what's the most effective way of mitigating that?
So Brad Sherman's quiet all of a sudden, or is he saying anything? Have we heard from him? Anybody heard from him?
So let's read the tea leaves a little. There was an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal a little while ago saying that banning Bitcoin is a solution here, and Representative Sherman did retweet that. That's the closest I think I've seen to a statement from him. But make of that what you will.
All right.
Retweet
Nick, thanks
something.
for the update this morning.
Thank you.
All right, that was CoinDesk Managing Editor of Global Policy and Regulation, Nick Day. Don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter at CoinDesk.com.
The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
And our final guest is a co-founder of blockchain-based smart contract platform Tezos. Joining us now is Kathleen Breitman in Miami. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good to have you. All right. So, and we touched on this in the beginning of the show. You know, securities regulators are telling Tesla that their CEO, Elon Musk, twice violated a court-ordered policy requiring his tweets to be pre-approved by company lawyers last year, according to the Wall Street Journal. And while the tweets in question have nothing to do with crypto, the industry is turning sour on Elon Musk. Sentiment for Musk on Twitter has shifted from positive to negative, hitting a new low in May, according to a data firm called Awario. And Yahoo Finance is reporting that sentiment changed as Musk started criticizing Bitcoin's energy consumption, announced that Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin payments, triggering the crypto market sell-off that we have now. So I'm wondering, Kathleen, in the aggregate, do you think Elon Musk is good for the crypto industry? Is he playing a positive role or not?
I think that being disappointed in Elon Musk is a just punishment for caring about what he said in the first place. And, you know, I mean, like, Elon Musk is a great entrepreneur. Like, he's a really smart guy. He sends rockets up into space. The rockets come back. You can use them. I mean, that's pretty awesome stuff. But clearly he's not, you know, a cryptocurrency expert, and it's not his forte. He seems to be having a lot of fun trolling a lot of people on Twitter. And I think, you know, getting rankled about that is kind of your problem, right? So, yeah, it's kind of devastating that one person seems to have so much effect on the sentiment of, you know, the cryptocurrency space. But, you know, it's a kind of a weird internet phenomenon that we're just figuring out. And so I don't think you should be surprised that this type of randomness, you know, enters the equation sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kathleen. Yeah, I fully agree with that comment. I think so. You know, another place where Elon Musk has been pretty influential is on the whole energy debate. And I'm just curious, like, you know, what your take is on why is this? You know, why is Elon Musk suddenly caring about Bitcoin and energy now? I mean, I think there's some questions about the timing, and just in general, I'm curious about your take about the larger conversation about energy and Bitcoin that's going on right now. Like, do you think it's actually happening in good faith, or do you think there's all these sort of people who are coming at it with their own agendas? Like, do you think it's like an intellectually honest debate that's happening right now about Bitcoin and energy?
Yeah, no, it's a fair question. Yeah, first and foremost, it is very surprising that Elon Musk seemed to be unaware of, you know, the underpinnings of Bitcoin.
Right, it's not a new problem. Yeah,
yeah, that's that again. We shouldn't have cared in the first place, but here we are. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, what I find telling about, you know, the sort of proof of work consensus algorithms is that basically that, like, no new project that is garnering a lot of excitement is launching with proof of work. You know, it's kind of it's very much a 1.0 first gen, you know, cryptocurrency solution to the consensus problem. There's been a lot of progress done and research in the space for more eco-friendly, I suppose, solutions such as proof of stake, which of course is what Tezos operates on. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's almost a moot point to get so rankled into throughout the whole cryptocurrency debate because of energy consumption, when clearly there are, I suppose, options and other alternatives that don't use as much, don't consume as much energy. I think a big problem in the space is, you know, thinking that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so I think a lot of the criticisms that are being made now of Bitcoin for its energy consumption are in bad faith, but I don't think that dismisses the point that, yeah, proof of stake is a viable alternative to it, and it does happen to have less of an ecological impact, and that's a great thing.
Good morning, Kathleen. You know, Elon Musk is in the energy business in his company. They sell credits, they sell solar panels. Do you think that his frustration is that he couldn't get the miners that he met with a few weeks ago to buy his credits or panels? Is there some sort of financial interest that he had in getting miners to, you know, all of a sudden start caring about energy consumption and it being happened to be his business?
Well, I certainly think that, you know, the fact that he was, you know, promoting Bitcoin, which of course uses a lot of, you know, coal-based energy, you know, it seemed a little bit contradictory to his other myriad of companies that are for, you know, kind of alternative energy sources. I don't think that one of the richest men on earth, you know, is moved to change his opinion because of what, you know, some group of cohort of miners was willing to do or not do. And I don't think he's playing a game of chicken with them. I think he's probably got bigger problems than that. But I do think that he's definitely having a lot of fun, and I kind of enjoy watching him have fun because it is pointing a mirror to the face of the culture in the cryptocurrency community that I find rather delicious.
Is that culture not as smart as they like to think they are because they're so addicted to Elon Musk and let's say Michael Saylor?
I don't think it's a matter of intelligence. I think it's a matter of taste. And so I just, you kind of get what you get what you pay for here. If you love Elon Musk because he tweets irreverent, meme coins into the top 10 market cap, then you should, kind of expect the other side of this, which is that you should, be quite wrinkled when he decides to put the wind in the other direction. So as I said, I think this is a very just punishment for a bunch of people who are very eager to latch on to something that confirms their biases.
On the flip side, Michael Saylor and Elon Musk have, tried to take positive initiatives such as the mining council that they've created. They want to encourage miners to be more forward-thinking and using renewable energy sources. They say the Bitcoin industry could become a leader in renewable energy and serve as a role model for other industries to follow. Could this be a good thing? They may have some positive impact here. Can we at least give them that?
The reason that Tezos exists is, to make observation. Tezos was born out of the observation that A, Bitcoin lacks a mechanism to upgrade itself, and B, that centralization of decision making in a blockchain is a massively dangerous risk to its future. So insofar as this validates a lot of what the Tezos position paper says, I think this is fantastic. For Bitcoin, I think it is terrible, however. And so, I think it would be great if on their own volition, these groups of people, decided to let the free market do its thing and mine with renewables. I know a lot of people doing, all sorts of cool stuff across the globe with renewable energy. I don't think Bitcoin is, a scourge on the earth. I think it has a valid reason to exist, and it's in fact a wonderful innovation that has improved the lives of many people peacefully. However, I do also tend to think that creating councils is not a good idea for the future of a decentralized platform. That's just my hot take. And in fact, I've worked several years on a alternative to it. So I'm talking my book here, of course.
Kathleen, we're not going to punish you by keep talking about Elon Musk for the rest of the show. So last time you were on, you talked about NFTs, and what's interesting is that recently there's been some data showing that NFT sales are kind of going down, and just in general, like anecdotally, it seems like there's a lot less froth around the NFT market. I'm just curious if you've noticed that, and if you feel like the NFT hype cycle has peaked. I mean, maybe it's not a bad thing, but has that been your observation?
So I think NFTs, there's like a kernel of something really awesome there, which is that people who, are in creative fields can monetize their output in a new and innovative way. It's been a great boon for people in, the digital arts, and obviously for communities coming together. One platform I'm really excited about, which has the most daily active users, is Hickeknook, which is based on Tezos. So I followed that with interest. It's got a really great hacker-ish community around it. I think that has a lot of organic traction and a lot of sort of native camaraderie, and it's not too, how shall I say this, not too orchestrated. What I think is not long for this world are the kind of, sort of venture-backed, super ham-fisted, platforms that are really trying to manufacture the sort of organic artistry and camaraderie that, other places on the internet have found more naturally. So I'm not surprised that this is kind of falling out of fashion. There's only so many times you could post a photo that gets, $700,000 for, I don't know, some pixel or whatever. But yeah, it was an interesting, sort of quarantine phenomenon, much like a lot of the other craziness that's been going on in the markets for the last 9 months. So, fun while it lasted, but I do think there's a kernel of something, actually quite beautiful and empowering about, these NFT marketplaces.
So real quick, what's this thing you're doing with Red Bull now? I love caffeine, by the way. So
I love caffeine too. In fact, my husband used to call me Caffeine McCoffee when we were dating. But yeah, no. So Red Bull has an F1 team, Formula One, which is kind of like the fancy European version of NASCAR. I kid. But yeah, no. F1 is a really cool sport. It's really a global brand. You can watch the Netflix series about it. Drive to Survive. And yes, the Tezos Foundation has sponsored one of the teams. That's Red Bull. They won the Monaco Grand Prix a few weeks ago with Max Verstappen, who has a really awesome name, setting everything aside. And yeah, I think basically, where NFTs are going to have a lot of staying power is in sports and in the arts, specifically music. And so another announcement that the Tezos ecosystem had was basically an investment in OneOf, which is an NFT marketplace that is, I guess, being backed by Quincy Jones as well as some other, pretty awesome folks in the music industry. So really, that's where I see sort of naturally people coming in together as fans, and I think that's where there's a market for NFTs in the long run, because those are sort of setting aside from the blockchain component and the novelty component of that. These are, mass multi-million-dollar industries.
Kathleen, thanks for joining us this morning, giving us a fundamental macro perspective on the industry right now.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, that was Tezos co-founder Kathleen Breitman. That's it for First Mover. Thank you, Emily Parker and Lawrence Lewitinn. I'm your host, Christine Lee. Tweet me if you're in Miami at Christine News. I'll be back live at 3 p.m. with All About Bitcoin coming up at noon as The Hash. You're watching CoinDesk TV. Thank you. I will.